Welcome back to Infinity Beyond. So far, we've seen how invisible space warfare is already being waged through hacking, interference, and orbital espionage. But what happens when stealth gives way to raw firepower? What weapons are being built for the day when open conflict erupts in orbit? The answer is as fascinating as it is terrifying. Let's start with hypersonic weapons. These are missiles that travel at speeds greater than Mach 5, 5 times the speed of sound. But their true danger lies not just in their velocity, but in their maneuverability. Unlike traditional ballistic missiles, which follow a predictable arc, hypersonic glide vehicles, HGVs, can change direction mid-flight, making them almost impossible to intercept. Russia's Avangard system, for instance, is said to be capable of traveling at Mach 20 while evading detection. The United States is developing similar platforms, and China has already conducted multiple tests of its own. These weapons may not spend much time in space, but they challenge every space-based early warning and defense system currently in place. To counter such threats, spacefaring nations are looking toward orbital kill vehicles, space-based interceptors designed to destroy incoming threats before they re-enter Earth's atmosphere. Imagine a network of satellites equipped with sensors, tracking data, and kinetic interceptors. At the first sign of a missile launch, they lock on, calculate trajectory, and fire a high-speed projectile to collide with the target. No explosives, just the devastating energy of speed and mass. This is called a hit-to-kill system. And it's real. The U.S. has tested versions under the Exo-Atmospheric Kill Vehicle (EKV) program. These devices are launched into space, lock onto their target, and collide with it directly, essentially punching it out of the sky. But space superweapons aren't limited to missiles. Other technologies being explored include directed energy weapons. These are high-powered lasers or microwaves mounted on satellites or drones. They could be used to disable or fry electronics from a distance, silently, instantly, and without any visible trace. Orbital railguns. Still mostly conceptual, these would use electromagnetic force to launch metal projectiles at incredible speeds. If built in space, they wouldn't face air resistance or gravity, making them incredibly efficient long-range weapons. Kinetic bombardment systems. Sometimes dubbed rods from God, these involve deploying tungsten rods from orbit. Upon re-entry, they generate the force of a small nuclear blast without any radiation or treaty violations. These systems are attractive precisely because they exploit loopholes in current space law. Of course, building and maintaining such weapons is extremely costly and technically complex. But the motivations are clear. The nation that controls the ultimate high ground, space, can dominate every other domain: land, sea, air, and cyberspace. And the race isn't just among the US, Russia, and China anymore. India, Japan, Israel, and even smaller nations like Iran and North Korea are rapidly expanding their space capabilities. Private companies, too, are entering the game, launching hundreds of satellites with potential dual-use applications. Space is being militarized in layers. Low Earth orbit becomes a battlefield of swarms. Hundreds of small satellites capable of surveillance, jamming, or physical disruption. Medium and high orbits host early warning systems and communications relays, prime targets in any major conflict. And beyond that lies cislunar space, the vast region between Earth and the Moon, now being eyed for military logistics, resource extraction, and strategic control. But with every new weapon comes a new risk. A missile test gone wrong could create debris fields that destroy civilian infrastructure. A space conflict could spill over into ground-based systems, shutting down the internet, disrupting power grids, or crashing financial markets. And let's not forget, space has no borders, no front lines. An attack on one satellite can impact dozens of others. The ripple effect could affect entire populations, without a single bullet being fired on Earth. Here at Infinity Beyond, we believe that knowledge is power. By understanding the weapons being built and the logic behind them, we can begin the conversation about responsibility, diplomacy, and the need for new international frameworks. In our next episode, we'll go even deeper, exploring the emerging battlefield of the Moon and Mars, and how these celestial bodies may become the next stage for territorial disputes and military expansion.